Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Cody, this is Val, and we do our personal financing and budgeting. So if you want to follow along, like, subscribe, all of that fun stuff, and we'll get into it because today we have money to budget, and that's what we're all about here.
So the app that you see on the screen is called YNAB, or You Need a Budget.
Which is crazy because you need a budget.
This is their web-based version. You can also get it for your iPhone or your Android or your Samsung, same thing. And I we highly recommend it. Think of it like digital cash envelopes meets zero-based budgeting. It is fantastic.
Yeah, cash envelopes have been all the rage since forever. However, in the modern age, we always found it to be a giant pain in the butt when, like, the clothing money was at home while we were out getting groceries with the grocery money, but then there was like a great deal on clothing that we needed, and then we had to finagle stuff, and it was a huge pain in the butt. So all your money's in one place on your debit card. These are the digital cash envelopes that
we need to stuff.
Yeah, for the stuff that we need when we want to buy things.
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit rambly because
you're making that up.
I know, surprise if you're new here.
As though that's not the entirety of our brand.
We had originally decided on what our budget was and what our debt payoff plan was last year. And since then, we've decided that maybe we're going to put our kids back into daycare.
Yeah, we're still on the fence about it because on the one hand, like, there's a lot of good stuff about the kids being in daycare, and they really miss it, and we really miss, like, the quiet time and the ability to do things just together and, like, chill and have, like, us time. But we also feel kind of guilty about it, you know? So, yeah.
So anyways, now we're trying to decide whether or not that's something we want to take back on financially. There's also some new subsidies available, which make it more cost effective than it was last year, but we don't have those exact numbers yet.
And if you're new here, a more professional channel would have, like, hashed this out beforehand and then done, like, the main talking points on screen to kind of show the decision-making process. About 5 minutes ago, when Val asked me if I wanted to do that, I said, nah, let's fucking wing it. That's our whole brand. So at some point, we're going to fucking wing it.
So before we budget this money, there's two main things that we have to decide. Are we putting the kids back in daycare, and are we returning that iPad? Because this $360 would be if we return for his iPad, that's covered. If we keep it, then we either have to pay for that or sell our iPad to pay off that one, and then maybe buy Gunner's own. So my thought process is, if we keep the kids out of daycare, I would like to keep the iPad because I rely heavily on that. I know, don't shame me, don't come for me. I heavily rely on that when I'm here by myself to entertain the kids.
We are very loosey-goosey with the thing. The only thing I'm going to say about parenting is that if you're the kind of parent that feeds your kids, like, frozen fries and pizza and chicken nuggets and stuff, you're terrible. At least cook it first.
So yeah, and we use that for, like, the teaching apps and stuff like that as well. So, like, there's learning built into it. But if we're putting the kids back in daycare, we can go back to how we were before, where essentially it was no screens.
Where they share the one, or like we have ours.
Yeah.
And like the kids share it on road trips occasion. And stuff.
Yeah. We were basically, I would say we were probably like 80% screen free when the kids were in daycare because they were getting so much stimulation at daycare. And then while they were at daycare, I was able to manage the whole household, do the YouTube video stuff, keep all of that going. And then that way when they were home, I was able to be more
that's
present.
One of the big driving factors with wanting to put the kids in daycare is that we feel like we're less present and less engaged than we could be because, like, it takes a lot to do stuff all day.
I feel like it's more family time, but it's less quality family time.
Yeah, we spend more time together, like, in the same space, but a lot of it is like, you know, beat it, nerd. Like, I understand you want to hang out with me, but I'm cooking splattery bacon right now, you can't be here. Or, like, I'm in the oven, you can't be here. Or there's raw meat, you can't be here. And then some of that might just be my own hang-ups, but I don't know, I just feel like we spend a lot of time being like, I'm trying to do something, beat it.
I do try to get the kids involved with, like, the cooking and the cleaning where I can, and that helps. And I love that Freya and Gunnar get to play with each other a lot more, because when they're in daycare, they're in separate rooms because of their ages. So I don't know. They tell me that they want to go back to daycare, but also they tell me that they want to stay home. So
yeah, and I know, like, we're the parents, we shouldn't be making our decisions based on what they want. For us, there's it's like an exact 50-50. There's just as many reasons to keep them in or keep them out as put them in. So the deciding factor one way or another is really what they want.
The other thing to consider too is if we put them back in daycare, we wind up squeezing ourselves because your income alone, because we're trying not to count any extra income, because all that extra income right now, it gets sent to our debt payoff plan. It's like $6,600 and we need $7,200. And I mean, obviously we can go through and adjust some of these goals, like, you know, maybe reevaluate some of them or take them down. But if I take out childcare, you know, that gets us a lot closer to that $6,600.
Yeah, without adjusting anything else.
Yeah. So.
Although I got half a mind if we do put him back in daycare to just tell him like Gunner's ready for potty training now, make it happen.
He is showing interest. And again, this is assuming that we're paying the same rate as last year. We know that it'll be less, but I don't know if it'll be $100 less or $200 less.
Yeah.
Or...
Apparently they're changing some things with the subsidy structure for childcare as far as the government is concerned. So we don't know exactly what that looks like yet.
So what is our decision? Are we putting the kids back in daycare? Are we keeping them out and returning the iPad? I mean, keeping them out and keeping the iPad, or putting them in daycare and returning the iPad. My other thought process here too is that Freya's only got a year left of daycare before she would be school age, and at that point I think we would want to homeschool, so she would be home full time then anyways. Which,
I mean, we could start some homeschooling stuff now. Like, she already does her workbooks and stuff like that, and she's really into Khan Academy. And...
She is, and I want to leave it like that because I've done a lot of research that studies show that if you force formal education on kids at a young age, they actually do worse in the long term.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, let her just be curious and do her own learning.
Yeah.
Until, like, the age of, like, 6 or 7, they say. So, which would be grade 1. Kindergarten's not necessary.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, that was my other thought, because at first it's like, well, I'm going to miss having them home when they're really young, but I also find this the most difficult time in parenting, and I'd almost rather have them at not school, but daycare, where they get to play, they get to learn, they get to socialize. Yeah. I get to take care of the house, get to take care of YouTube, and then when they are home, I get that enjoyable time with them.
Yeah, it turns out that we're really boring people. Our defaults are to be like homebodies, curl up and like read. So like, it's great for us, we're loving it, but we're not like spontaneously adventurous, and I think the kids are bored.
And then I'm resenting my time with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm so worn out by the end of the day. And then, you know, our other things too, where it's like, we want to have quality time, or we want to be able to go to the gym, and it's really hard to do that because we don't have anybody who can come look after our kids.
I mean, sometimes it would be nice to just hop in the car and run a quick errand instead of turning like a trip to go get gas into like a 2-hour affair, because that's how long everything takes with a kid. Or,
you know, the only way that we can do that is if we go to like a rec center, because they have free child minding there, but then it's a different person all of the time, different kids all of the time, more stressful on the kids, more expensive for us, because then we have to get like a whole family rec center pass versus just like $25 a month at a cheap gym, right? Yeah. So like, not that outweighs the expense of childcare, but I'm trying to think of like expenses, pros, cons, what works for our family, what's important for us in our lifestyle right now.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards putting them in.
Okay.
Well, I suppose you're leaning towards keeping them out now?
No, I'm leaning more towards putting them in and then keeping them out for homeschooling when they reach the ages of like 5 and 6.
Yeah, and well, that'll be good too, because we can kind of find our feet with Freya while Gunner is still in daycare for a little bit.
But I'm also really glad that we tried it, because they've been out of daycare for 2 months. It'll be 2.5 months by the time they go back. Yeah. Wow. But for me, it's been really good because I've really been able to stretch my capacity. Because before we took them out, I felt like I couldn't make it through a weekend by myself without you here. Yeah. Whereas now I'm going a week or weeks at a time.
And I'll be honest, like I turned down a lot of overtime last year because I didn't want to leave you stranded for extended periods of time. But I mean, you've done
2.5 months.
Yeah, you've done a full 21 with the kids at home. So
full time, not in daycare.
Yeah, so I can do the odd 21 here and there with the kids in daycare, and you'll be fine.
I also unfortunately have some relationships now suffering too, because I can't get out of the house as much with the kids. And I just feel like I have more priorities. I don't know how to say this without making it sound bad. I have other priorities other than just being a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And while being a mom and our home is one of the most important priorities to me, I feel like why would I not use the tools available?
It's the biggest piece. Like the parenting is the biggest piece of the puzzle, but it's not the entirety of the puzzle, and the rest of the puzzle is being neglected.
Yeah. That's a better way of saying it.
Yeah. I'm wordsy.
Okay.
She's administrative in numbers, and I'm wordsy.
So with that decision, the other thing that we were contemplating is with Cody's work, he does not get vacation days. Mm-hmm. Instead, they pay out 6% every paycheck for vacation pay.
Yeah, the only time we get anything, like not really vacation pay, I guess. I'm thinking stat pay. Never mind. Scratch that. We'll edit that out. We won't.
So I'm thinking that what we'll do is we'll just start looking at how much they put on his check for vacation pay and start putting that into Cody's. We put Cody's sick days, but maybe it should just be like Cody's time off. Cody's time off.
Call it something funny, like Cody has big feelings.
So this paycheck, it was $171.07.
Yes.
Cody's got big feels. Mm-hmm. You good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now we can go through and budget the rest. So our next paycheck is the 26th. So everything up until the 26th we need to budget for.
Excellent.
And we'll see how far this gets us.
Not far enough. It never feels far enough.
But Cody also had a shorter shift this last shift too, which is why we only got $2,100 instead of $2,900. How much do we want to put in for groceries?
We have $38 available currently. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like we need a pretty decent shop. Mm-hmm. Maybe. And it's always like $1,700 at Costco. So call it like $400.
So our budget for the month would be another $18.64. That would be our whole, that's all we've got for the whole month. How much do we need for gas? You just filled up when we left.
So we're about a half tank.
But what did you spend in Boyle?
Like $50-ish.
Okay, and then how much do we need for the rest of the month? Like another 80?
What day is it today?
The 11th.
Yeah, probably another 80.
Okay. Some coffee money, because that's always nice to have.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot our spending money. $2,100, right? Mm-hmm. Was it $2,100?
I thought we were just taking $120 a month.
We are, but I figure a percentage up until it's maxed. So $63 each. I mean, if we have enough money, we could just fund the thing. No, because you would need another $42. What else could we put in here? Dining out. That would be probably the last thing.
Yeah.
$26. We could take some money out of gas.
No.
No?
No, I think gas is more important than...
Okay, so we need $3,400 left, but this will get returned. So $3,000, and we have about $3,600 left coming.
Perfect. So that'll work out.
Yeah, and then that'll give us $600 to roll into February for food and gas, and the first few bills due in February, because we get paid again. I think it's like February 12th or something.
And we budget next month's rent as well, right?
Yeah, that's in that $3,000.
Okay.
Right now, it's not budgeted for because that would come off of the next paycheck.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm happy with that.
Same with daycare. And again, if we took the kids out of daycare, then we would need like $2,500. Mm-hmm. Whew. Okay. And then this will get covered with my spending.
Cool.
So that's it. That's all.
Yeah. That is the show. So
a bit of a rocky start.
Yeah, not great to the new year. But...
Oh, yes. Hold on. There's one more thing that we wanted to put in here. If we're going to put the kids in daycare, then we had to reevaluate our debt payoff plan and how far that helped us. So what I had done is I went in here, because something that we didn't include before is at the end of the year, from like August on, sometimes earlier, but August on is usually a safe bet, we get an extra $600 a month. Because he's no longer contributing to CPP and EI because he will have maxed him out for the year. So if we put the kids back in daycare, that brought our debt snowball down to like $50 a month, which made things a little more manageable. but pushed our debt freedom date from December to February. So it's 2 extra months.
Which doesn't seem huge in the grand scheme of things, I guess. But
And then I think too, if the kids are back in daycare, that frees us more time, especially during the day, to do more content or to figure out more the things that we can create for digital downloads to sell on the Etsy store. So like, could we theoretically...
Yeah, guys, we have an Etsy store. Well, she does. I just promote it right now here. So you can go check out the Etsy store. We'll link it somewhere.
So if we could make back, $400 a month from putting the kids in daycare through like Etsy sales and stuff and YouTube,
We're
then
back on track.
We're back on track, right? So it's just, I don't know. I'm okay with it if you are. I
think I'm good with it.
I still want to push for a debt-free 2024 because I think we can do it. A year is a long time.
I'm planning to take more overtime. Probably this next shift I go in, I'm going to tell Colin that like I'm doing 21s whether he likes it or not. So plan accordingly.
Right, and we only budgeted for 2 overtime shifts for the whole year, right? So if there's a shutdown, if there's more overtime opportunities, and like our YouTube revenue has already doubled in the last month. So we were averaging like $20-ish
You guys
a
are
month.
awesome.
We were averaging like $20 a month, which of course we don't see because YouTube doesn't pay out until it's at least 100. But now for the last few weeks, we're averaging about $45 for a 30-day period. So it's more than doubled, right? And so if we can be more consistent, continue to grow on YouTube, maybe we can see, $100 a month.
Yeah.
And that helps to add back into the debt payoff.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are we good? Are we done?
Yeah.
You're good?
Sorry, I'm done.
Good?
I'm done
Okay,
rambling.
We're good. Yeah, we'll leave you guys here. So if you found value or entertainment in the video here, make sure you like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it twice. That's the important one. Actually, is the disliking twice. And actually, if you like it, hit that like button 3 times. Yeah, and leave comments, subscribe, ring the bell. If you have any thoughts on what we shared, anything we missed, holes in our thinking that maybe we haven't noticed. Because that's the thing about blind spots is you don't see them. But we're going to leave you here. Thank you guys for coming along. We love you very much. And is it payday yet? Bye.